Hello and welcome to Author Talk. Today we are joined by none other than Neal Stevens. He is an up-and-coming poet author, so it's a little bit different to what we normally do, but we're going to be chatting about how he goes through his process and stuff like that and things that he has coming up. And as ever, guys, I am James Wheeler. Anyway, let's get on with the interview. Thank you so much for joining me today, Neal.
Thank you for having me. This is I feel honored. This is great. So I'm
Brilliant.
excited.
So where exactly are you right now? You're somewhere in America, right?
Yes, sir. I'm in the middle of Missouri, literally, like in between St. Louis and Kansas City. I'm sitting in a small park, just chilling.
Oh, brilliant. That's awesome. So, thank you for joining us. I know it's very early where you are with the old time difference. It's always a pain trying to figure out and, get the two time zones to get some kind of. So, thank you so much. So, you are the author of Cursed by a Gift.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that. Tell us, what that kind of is, because you are a poet. And I believe this book is, a poetry novel. Is that correct?
It's a poetry collection of stuff I wrote over the years, and my family friend, basically my, I call her my sister-in-law, has started a publishing company, and I was one of the first books she wanted to do. And I love to write. I hate editing. I hate the marketing. I hate all that. So she goes, if you just send me the file, I'll make a book. Done, deal, whatever. And she turned it into a work of art and made, it's one of the first books that she published as her independent publishing company that she's still trying to get off the ground. So I'm excited and it's just been fun.
That's
So
awesome. That's really interesting. So you say that it's made up of a collection of poems that you've written over the years. How long did it take you to, accumulate enough to pop into a book?
uh honestly, it didn't take very long, but this is some I've written over the years because
Hmm.
it's just I literally sent her a file and said, "You choose, you do what you want, have fun with it. I don't want stress. I don't want to worry about it. This is
Yeah.
something you want to do. Go for it." And she did and ran with it and took her, her choices, which ones she thought were the best ones, to put them together in this book and put it out under my real name, which is Stephen Cole. So it came out, and then when she published it at first, I was like, "Oh no, it's under my real name." And I'm like, "Well, this one's not bad. I like these poems. My kids
Yeah.
won't be upset with any of this." So I was like, "All right, let's run with it." And
So
hasn't really taken off, but it's good.
it's interesting because when I was researching you, and of course I typed in your name, there is another quite famous author under your exact same name. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
And is
There's
that
very
partly why you decided to, come on and have an author name?
well. I've always had an author name. I have two daughters, and I don't want them seeing some of the stuff I write. I want them to have the option of seeing it.
That's because you
Some of it,
write a bit of erotica as well. Is that
a
correct?
bit of erotica, a little bit of horror, a little bit of weird stuff, I would say. And I'm just like,
And is it
give
all
them the
poetry,
option.
or is some of it a bit more standard?
All poetry.
All
It's
poetry.
That's why I call it cursed. My first book was Cursed by a Gift. Is everything I write comes out in poetry, even if I
And
try to sit down and
what
write it as a
was
story.
your second book called?
The second book is called Bound to Ecstasy
Okay.
by Neal Stevens. It's on Amazon,
Okay.
so it's
That's a
more of an
huge
erotic tale.
range, especially as you're doing horror now as well, because you're in like
Yeah,
air quotes the collective, that has books coming out uh in the future.
yeah.
That's a huge range. That's really interesting. How do you go about writing? Because I mean, honestly, I know nothing about poetry, and we will circle back to author names a little bit later because I think there's a good tip to include in this video. But how do you go about writing poetry? I know that I could not do that at all.
There's a reason I call it Cursed by a Gift. Um, since I was young, trying to write, wanted to write, everything came out in rhyme. I wrote papers in high school for my English teacher, and he was perfectly fine if I wrote a 5-page paper that was poem and just rhymed. as long as I included all the information that was required. And he kind of fed that hunger from there. And it's just been one of those that every time I write, it just comes out rhyming. And literally, I will sit there and on my phone, just sit there and type up a poem. So it's,
Okay, that's really so you've been writing poetry from very, very early, and sometimes it
yeah,
might take you a split of a second to come up with a poem.
yeah. I
That's
can
really
literally,
interesting.
um, talking about the collective, the way me and Ray got connected was I was sitting there one day and I was reading some of the stuff that he had posted, and it kind of inspired something, and I typed it up and just sent it to him. And he goes, "You literally just wrote this." I'm like, "Yeah, it just popped up in my head. I put it on my phone and sent it to you. I haven't read it. I haven't even looked at it." So half the stuff I post, I don't read. I don't edit. It just goes straight on to Facebook.
Oh, okay. So a lot of it's just completely unedited. Oh, the joys of that. I hate editing myself, so that's kind of
So
cool. And to have, is it your sister-in-law be able to do all the
yeah,
formatting for you and stuff like that too? So is
yeah.
formatting something as a self-published author that you try to just stay away from? Do you understand it at all?
I do not enjoy it. It's not the fun part of it. I know how
Yeah,
to do it. I've got a degree in business management and marketing, but I don't enjoy it when it comes to my own stuff.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I just want to write. And then everyone's like, you need to put this out. And that's where the Facebook page came from. And then everybody's like, write a book. And I'm like, I don't want to. And they're like, and then she was like, I will do the book. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. I don't want the stress. I do not want to hate writing. So as long as I have my love for writing, she can do whatever she wants with it and have fun with it. So,
That's really cool. That's cool that you have that, you have that in your locker to be able to have someone else format for you. Because, I think you're absolutely right. Being a self-published author is so difficult. And I say it all the time. You have to wear so many hats when it comes to
oh
being the
yeah,
writer, the editor, the proofreader. There's just so much for you to have to focus on to try and get a book out that yeah, that's handy. That's handy to have in your back pocket. But it's
and
interesting because we're getting. I don't know if you've seen any of the interviews on the channel so far, but we are getting a theme where we've had a lot of self-published authors on, and the one
oh yeah,
common theme they hate the most is editing, is formatting it. Making it so it looks like it's ready to be published. So that's interesting that you're there with us as well on that one.
yeah. The formatting and the editing is so different when you're trying to do the poems because you your story, you write it and you're like, okay, it's gonna go page one, page two, page three. Well, with the
Mm,
poetry, it's like, okay, technically this poem works with this one, but I don't like the way they read next to each other. So now I've got to flip that or do that. And I'm like, that part I hated.
yeah.
I did the Bound to Ecstasy on Amazon just because I had so many requests for my erotic poetry to be published.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'll do a simple one. And then I said, like I said, she's very independent. She does it out of her house in a very small town of 400 people. I
Mm,
mean, so she has a real job. She's doing all this other stuff, and she's like wants to do this. And so I sent her over 200 poems of erotic poetry that I'd written over a year between me and a friend that I would send her, and she'd either yay or nay,
yeah.
and then that would get added to the file. So
Fair enough. That's cool. That's really interesting. How do you go about, switching it up from writing erotica to writing horror to writing contemporary?
whatever pops in his brain of mine, I
Okay, it's just
literally,
spare of the moment.
yeah, it literally is. I started a story yesterday for a friend of mine that she was like, I want something specific
Yeah.
because she's going through some stuff. And she goes, but I don't want it to be heart wrenching. I don't want it, I want it to tear at my heartstrings. I want it to have a little bit of erotica. I want it to be real. I want it this. And I'm like,
Hmm.
and I wrote 6 poems of it yesterday while we were at work, just chilling. So It's
So
just
you're very much a gardener then. I would say, I would typically ask, would you say you're more of a architect or a gardener? But you're very much of a gardener when it comes to writing. That you just want to pop these bits out here and a bit of a prune there, and uh,
yeah,
and hey presto, you've got your poems.
yeah, exactly. I just want to write whatever's in that moment and boom, be done. Um, this is sitting here at the park is I come here almost every morning. This
So
is
that's
like
kind of like
part of
your
my
inspiration
routine.
point.
Yeah, this is my inspiration, my routine, and it just I love this area, and it's 5 minutes from my house, so it's perfect. So on my way to work, I spend about 20 between 20 minutes and an hour here every day, just
That's
chilling
cool.
and relaxing, listening to sound.
And are you working on anything at the moment? Is there any kind of upcoming projects that you're looking to get out either this year, next year?
Um, Currently working with you guys with the collaborative or whatever we're calling it
The Deranged
for the
Minds,
Deranged
yeah.
Minds. Working on that series. Ray and I are also working on another project. I'm not sure where we stand on that one. Um, Other than that, not really. My publisher has the erotic poetry book that she's working on, but it's probably not going to be out for another 6 months to a year.
Okay.
So,
And is your
I,
first book exclusive with her independent publishing company, or can you, or will we be able to get that on Amazon at some point as well?
you can buy it on Amazon.
You
It's
can buy it on
not
Amazon.
through. It's not through Amazon though,
Okay.
and you'll pay more if you go to Amazon for that book.
Okay.
But if you go to the website for the publisher, Blue Coconut Publishing, you can get it in hardback, paperback, or ebook.
Okay.
And each, even in the ebook, it's like five. I think she's got it on there for $5 for the ebook,
Hmm.
but it has all the artwork and everything, just like the hardcover book.
That's really cool.
Everything is the same. So
Who done your cover as well? The cover for your book, the first one.
she did all that.
She did it all herself. Oh, brilliant! I will have to get her on to interview her next day. That sounds very, very interesting.
She's done several. Like I said, it's not been anything major. It's not been a huge. It hasn't blown up or anything yet, but it's
Yeah.
just something she has a passion for it, and she's she's into the detail part of life, and I'm just like I just want to write. So,
Yeah, 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 of course. That's really interesting. Okay. Do you read much yourself? Are you much of a reader?
oh yes, I love reading. Mostly I read on uh, the independent writers I follow on Facebook or TikTok or whatever, but um, so like Ray Bush, I've started looking at some of your stuff. Um, Jimmy Ray, God, I'm having a blank on his name right now, but I love his. He does all video poetry,
Okay, that's cool.
and it's really wicked. He does some really dark stuff, some funny stuff. And there's so many other independent poets, but like when I was younger, it was always Edgar Allan Poe or John Steinbeck. So really, I have a variety of taste also. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that
yeah.
explains why I write in so many genres. Is literally my mood decides what I want to read, and it's just I like having a variety of things
That's cool. If you
when
had
I'm
to
into.
recommend a couple of books to us today, what books would you recommend for any viewers to have a look at?
Of course, Deranged Minds,
Of
Campfire
course.
Tales. Go check that one out. Asteria Graves, she's an independent author. She has a book of horror tales,
Okay.
which is really wicked too. Um, let's see. I think um, I can't think of Patricia something, and I wish I could remember her name. Has a book out called Nevermore,
Okay.
which is
Nevermore.
based on like Edgar Allan Poe style. So it's really I loved it. Um, just I recommend reading anything. Pick up a book off the shelf that you wouldn't normally read and see what happens. Because
That is a very good piece of advice. Do you have any advice for aspiring authors? Because it sounds like you're very much at the beginning of your author journey, much like myself, much like Ray, much like everyone that's been on this channel really so far. Have you got any advice for new authors?
just right, enjoy it. Don't do it for the followers. Don't, good Lord, don't try to do it for the money. Because you're never going to, you might get lucky, you might not, but do it because it's something you enjoy and stick to something you enjoy. Don't try to go outside the box or fit yourself inside a hole just
Yeah,
so you can try to get more. Just do what you enjoy. And if you still find joy in it, someone's going to need those words. Someone's going to enjoy those words. And worst case scenario, you put it on paper and you made a book or you made this page or whatever you want to call it. And that's something no one could ever take away from you.
I
So
totally
just
agree
do
with
it
you
for
there.
you. I mean, that's what my issue is. I work a lot. So I don't do this for money at all. If I got rich doing it, hey, yay, but I don't plan on it, don't expect it. I don't mind working. This
Yeah,
is
of
my
course.
escape and my joy.
It's your
So
escape. I think that's what makes it work so much. I think that if you are writing to be a serious professional writer, there's a lot of work there, but you have to be doing it for the fun of writing, for the enjoyment of writing, and just putting your work out there for other people to enjoy as well. And
and that's why I post.
I think you made a very smart move by having an author name as well. I think that's something that people don't necessarily think about too much. And that, if you are an author, if you are an someone that wants to get books out there, Google yourself, find out if there is an author with your name. And if there is, then perhaps having an author name is the right move for you. Or again, in your case, you write something that you would perhaps maybe not want family to see, so therefore you've changed your name for those reasons as well. But they're very good reasons to change your name. And I think that is something that a lot of authors do wonder when they're very first starting out: is should I have an author name? Should I just stick with my own name?
Because I mean, I'll be honest, I've never wanted anything published under my real name. And until she did all this, did the whole book, did everything, sent me the copy, the hard book copy.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and went, oh crap, that's my name. And I literally, when I started looking at it and I read the poem she picked and the artwork that's in it and everything else, I'm just like, you know what? This I will accept under my real name. This is something I can be proud of. And I don't have to worry about anyone knowing that I wrote it.
Yeah, of course.
And
So it
then,
worked out well for the better in the end anyway.
yeah, it's one of those,
That's
okay, my kids and family can pick this up. I'm golden. There's
yeah, of
nothing
course.
I'm going to upset or offend anyone. Good.
So of course you are one of the many authors in Tales of a Deranged Mind, and of course there have been a couple of books out at this stage, I believe. I'm coming in on the third one. I believe you were in on the last one as well.
Yeah.
And of course we've got more moving forward. Are these books that you enjoy? Why would you recommend other readers pick this book up itself?
I recommend Tales for a Deranged Mind just for the simple fact it takes you to a place you're not expecting
Yeah.
because you get to go through someone's just brief short stories. It's quick. You don't have to spend hours reading it. You can just pick it up, have a few minutes, enjoy it. It takes you to a kind of creepy horror, scary kind of thing, and it's just fun and it's interesting and it's a bunch of people coming together that just said, "Hey, let's write stories and put them in a book and see what happens."
I think it's quite interesting when it comes to horror. This is a horror subject that we're going to be writing about, all of us. I think you're probably not going to encounter too many books quite like this because you are reading stories based on many different authors. So no story is going to be the same. No story is going to
Right.
have the same beats. So
And it's you get a different beat, you get a different view of life, you get a different view of how they see horror.
yeah.
And then, it shocked me when they wanted to include me in it because it's like, oh, you're getting short stories, and then we're gonna throw in a little creepy, scary poem in between each one to give you a
Yeah,
break.
yeah.
I'm like, this is kind of unique and weird, and I'm on board. I like unique and weird. So,
I could think it could blend quite well. It acts as a nice palate cleanser between chapters or between stories.
and that way each author gets their fresh start each time to me,
Yeah.
because you go from your story or Ray's story to everyone else's stories, but you get a break in between. It's a good stopping point if you're not wanting to sit down and read the whole book at one time. So it's just kind of nice, and it's gonna sound weird because I'm deranged like that, but it's relaxing because it takes you
That's
to
the
a
thing.
different place
People
again.
people love horror. They love erotica because it's an escape
Yeah,
from their day-to-day lives. So, horror is kind of the perfect escape for that reason. That's why many people turn to fantasy or sci-fi, for instance.
exactly. And it's like, well, the erotica thing for me, it was weird to begin with because I would do it if I was seeing someone or flirting with someone. I could write something like that.
Yeah,
And one of the girls I was talking to goes, "Why don't you write this more often?" She goes, "Put this on your page."
yeah.
And I'm like, "No." And then I have like three or four different people on my page that have followed me and have been there, and I have conversations with. And I was like, "All right, what do you guys think?" And they're like, "Yeah, we've been waiting for you to post more because you've posted like bits and clips, but nothing, major." I'm like, "Okay, now if I do that, and if you go to my page, you'll see anything that says adult content ahead.
And which you said it's on Facebook. What is the Facebook page called? Just for anyone that wants to click.
Neal Stevens continued."
Okay,
Yeah,
that's actually the name that you are over on Instagram as well.
yeah.
And what's the best place for people to actually be able to contact you?
Facebook usually is the easiest.
Yeah.
It's that's where I do most of my writing. Most of Because if I'm writing, I'm literally just sitting there pulling up my Facebook page, typing it out on my phone, and hitting send or hitting
Have
post.
you managed to get much traction over on Facebook when it comes to marketing?
No,
No. Okay. I just
not
thought maybe you had
honestly.
a
No,
little gem there for us, but no, that's cool.
no. I've got the last time I looked, and I don't track it anymore. I don't. It doesn't phase me as much as people worry about it.
Yeah.
Is I have like 1,700 followers, I guess. I don't know.
That's not too
The
bad,
last time I looked, and for a while that became my focus. I wanted the numbers. I wanted the followers. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I don't really care. I just want to write. And if someone sees the poem that I wrote and makes their day better, it touches their soul that day or whatever, that's what I want.
Yes.
And
I think
I
that
love,
the key is building up a good
yeah,
community base behind you. It doesn't matter which platform you're using. Being able to actually build that community is so important. I mean, I'm very early on in my writing career, but I have a YouTube channel. I have a Discord. I have a very good community behind me there within the gaming network. So I fully understand what it's like to be able to create that and what that means to you and the success of your channels. Well, keep plugging at it. I'm sure you will make it. I'm looking forward to seeing your poems in the books that we got coming up with the Deranged
yeah.
Minds. And thank you so much for joining us today, Neil.
Well, thank you, sir, and have a great day. Go enjoy it. It's what, about one or two there?
It is 2 o'clock, yeah.
Yep, it's about 8 o'clock here. So hey, the time difference isn't that bad actually.
Not too bad. Okie dokie. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And guys, if you've been watching this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts. If you want to reach out to Neil, I'm sure you can find his books over on Amazon, and of course my books are available on Amazon as well. But until next time, catch you later.